Hello grade 5. Welcome back to my English class. Today we will be continuing with Friends at the Sea Escape. Our topic for today is characters, setting and problems. So today we will be discussing about the characters, the setting and also the problems faced by the characters. Now I hope everyone has read the story. If you remember, I told you to read it in the last class. So, can you tell me who is the main character of the story? Yes, you're right. Tara is the main character of the story. Okay, her dad and Nilesh are the supporting characters. Jizzy is also one character. Okay, so Tara is the main character. We also have supporting characters, that is Tara's dad, Jizzy and Nilesh. The setting of the story is in the sea escape. It is a dome-like structure which is built at the bottom of the sea, okay, or the ocean. So there is where your story takes place. So this is the setting of the story. Now, if you have read the story, you would come to know that what is the problem faced by Tara? The problem faced by Tara is that she doesn't get along with a boy named Nilesh. Okay, she doesn't get along. Why? Because Nilesh is very annoying. He always irritates her. He kind of bullies her. Okay, so she doesn't get along with him. How would you describe Tara? If I ask you to describe Tara in just 3 words, how would you describe her? So I have written words like sweet. Okay, she's a sweet girl. She is intelligent. She is smart. Okay, you can also say she is adventurous because she loves swimming with the fishes. You can say she is friendly. Okay, because she loves the fishes. Okay, so 3 words to describe her. Read the lesson and find out 3 words. Now, what does Tara like to do? Tara likes swimming with the fishes, right? She especially likes to swim and talk to Jizzy. And dislikes? We all know that she dislikes Nilesh because he always makes fun of her. So if you have read the story, you should be able to answer these questions which we have already discussed. Now let's take this a little more further, okay, and go into a little more detailed discussion. Now, the setting, of course, the setting is in the ocean, okay, in a place known as the sea escape. But this is a very futuristic setting, okay. The story takes place in the future, okay. And this story tells us how the world might look in the future, okay. It tells us how the world might look in the future if we do not change due to climate change, okay. Due to climate change, our world is slowly getting into problems, isn't it? We hear about it every day. In fact, whenever we read the news, okay, or whenever we see the newspapers, whenever we listen to the television news, we always wonder what kind of world are we living in today, right? It's becoming a very evil world, okay? A world where we do not care about our own people, we do not care about animals, we do not care about our climate, we do not care about nature, okay? So this story is written, okay, by the author because he wants to tell us that if we do not change, we may face problems like this, okay. So this setting is a futuristic setting, means that the story is set in the future and it tells us how the world might look in the future, okay. Now, the characters in the story are quite different from us. No doubt they are human beings, just like you and I, but they are very different. Why? Because you would find that Tara and her friends do not go to school, okay. They do not have a school. In fact, they just have a room where they have a teacher and they do their schoolwork on tablets. Now, you and I, we did our schoolwork on in books, right? Even now, of course, you are using your mobile phones or you're using your laptops, but we still use books. But you can see 100 years from now, okay, students most probably will be using tablets, because the way we are cutting down trees, most probably in the future we will have no more trees left and we would have no more paper. So students or anyone would be using tablets in the future, okay. We find that she swims with the fishes. Again, this is something quite different. You would not see you and I swimming with the fishes, right? We don't live under the sea, so we cannot swim with fishes. She talks to dolphins with a machine. Now this is not at all possible. We have not yet invented any machine that can talk to animals. And she lives in a dome which is under the water, okay, in the bottom of the ocean. Now this is also not possible, because so far we have not been able to construct any living habitats under the ocean, okay, because the pressure is very high and it is going to be very difficult to live there. Now the problem with Tara was that Nilesh used to annoy her, but there is a huge bigger problem in the story, okay. And what is that bigger problem? The bigger problem is that dry land was shrinking, okay, due to climate change. Now it's becoming hotter every year these days, and because it's becoming hotter and hotter, you would find that the climate is changing, okay. These days we have a very erratic climate. We have a climate which we cannot even predict. Ice caps are melting, so the water level in the seas are increasing, and when water level in the seas increase, our land starts decreasing, okay. The land goes under water, okay. So this is the bigger problem, okay, or the problem which I want everyone to understand, right? So where dry land was shrinking, okay, so the population was growing on the sea escape. Now when we have no land to stay, our next place would be to stay on the sea escape. And this was what Tara's father used to do. He used to make domes, or he used to make buildings under the sea for people to stay, okay. Now if you notice, the introduction section tells us what happened before the story began. Now this is a very beautiful part, okay, and this is a very important part, because it tells us how this whole story, okay, it just connects the story. If you did not have this introduction part, it would have been very difficult to connect with the story. So the introduction part tells us how, okay, Tara's grandfather died the day she was born, okay, and they were studying about climate change. Suddenly the climate became very erratic and a storm appeared and he died, okay. And it was because of this, okay, it was because of this particular reason Tara's father decided to live under the sea, okay. And he was the one behind the idea of making colonies under the sea to live, okay. And the author wrote this part to explain how climate changed the life of the narrator, okay. Tara's parents were a very happy family on land. It is only when her grandfather died, okay, the father realized how serious the situation is, and he decided to start a project where he would make colonies under the sea for people to live, because he realized that in another 50 or 60 years there would be no place on land, and people would definitely have to stay in these colonies, okay. So this part is very important because it tells us how climate changed the life of the narrator and turned Tara's father to the ocean. It also introduces the characters and the settings of the story, okay. So this is all about character, setting and problems, okay. So I've already told you about the characters. We have the main character, which is Tara, and we have the supporting characters, that is her father, Nilesh and Jesse, okay. Setting, now we have a setting which you could say is the sea dome or the sea escape in the bottom of the ocean. And you can also say that this story is set in it is a futuristic setting, okay. And the problem, we have again Tara's problem, okay, that she gets very annoyed with Nilesh because he really irritates her. And we have a larger problem, okay, that is climate change. Now let's discuss your workbook. For your workbook, okay, that is on page number 6, S2, you need to write about the problem that Tara faces. We will be discussing about Tara, okay. We have talked about Tara, so today you will be writing about Tara. So the first thing you need to do is you need to write about the problem she faces. 3 words to describe her. Read the story, find out how you can describe her in just 3 words. What does she like? What does she dislike? Okay, then you need to draw what the setting of the story looks like. I have told you now the setting of the story is under the ocean, okay? It is on the seabed. So how would that setting look like? So you need to draw that. You can take some idea from the pictures which are given in your content book. And you need to describe it in a few sentences, okay? So after you draw it, describe what you have drawn. And question number 3, what does the author talk about in the first paragraph? Okay, so in the first paragraph, he tells us how Tara's grandfather died and how Tara's father was the main person to work on the colonies in the sea escape. Okay, so you need to write that. Did you like that part? Yes or no, that's up to you. But please see that you support it with reasons. Okay, whenever you have a yes or no question, I need a valid reason, okay? Not I like it and I do not like it. I do not want those kind of answers. I want a valid reason why you like the story, okay? Why you like the introduction or why you did not like the introduction. Clear? So that's all for today. In case you have any doubts, you can message or you can call me. See you all in your next class. Have a fantastic weekend. Bye-bye.